Hi, my name is Liz Hocker, and I am the Managing Director of New Listings and Capital Markets for Nasdaq. I am here today at Silicon Slopes Summit with Heather R. Younger, the founder and CEO of Employee Fanatix. Heather, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We're excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. This is a great group. I was just like, wow, the level of energy, and people were just really locked in to what I was saying, and just energy. I was walking through the halls like, where am I? I've never spoken here at the Vivint Center. I've never spoken here. So
yeah, it's the first year at Vivint. So it's fantastic.
I love it. I'm like, what? They're like the jazz play here? Like, what is it?
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you could join us backstage. We really wanted to learn more about Employee Fanatix and all the great work you're doing. But I guess to start out with, I'd love to hear your background and sort of how you came to doing the work you're doing and creating Employee Fanatix.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I would say to kind of most recently, it was a culmination. I was working in an organization where it was a merger of 5 different companies, and I was leading customer experience. And the culture during the merger was going way downhill fast, and I could feel it. And I'm the kind of person who's always uplifted and tries to uplift other people, but I felt myself being kind of dragged down by it. And I went to the head of HR and I said, listen, we really need to do something about our engagement, something about our lack of trust, because this is just can't last. And she said, you're right. You should go do something about that. And I was like, wait, what? I'm in customer experience. Like, how does that happen? How does that work? But it made sense because I kind of already acted kind of like a cultural ambassador, really uplifting people on my team, whether they reported to me or not. And in that moment, like I just said, okay, I'm going to create an employee engagement council. And I brought people around the table that were from the different companies to really start to think about how do we break down walls? How do we create more trust? And it started to work. And the more we sat around the table, the more people listened to each other, the more we came up with creative ideas to make people be not just numbers or just like that person's title is that person's title. It was they were human, and created that connectedness. And so the merger didn't go so well. And of course, there were just a lot of layoffs, and I was one of them. But I realized in the moment of all the work we were doing to bring people together and break down the walls, that was a missing part of what happens in reorgs and mergers. We're worried so much about the end result and getting there. We're not thinking too much about the people who help us achieve the things up to that point and past that point. And that's the employees and our customers. So I just really decided to focus my effort on those 2 stakeholders a lot. How can we use their voices? How can we get to the truth for what they want and tell it to the people who can do something for them? And that's where Employee Fanatix came from.
That's incredible. And so, we all hear about culture and we all hear about how important it is. But tell me about some of the unique things that you do or that you found really resonate with companies that are struggling with their culture and employee effectiveness.
Yes. I always say that everything starts and stops with listening. So if organizations don't know how to listen well, and there's a very specific process that we roll out to our clients about what that is, then they're never going to get to the truth, because you don't even get to the truth until you've built trust. But you can't build trust unless you listen well. So it's kind of a circular type of thing. But we really go in there and teach them how to learn how to be an organization that listens and includes more people in their decision making and brings more people of all different types around the table to do that. And when you're going through change, all the reorgs and the mergers and just whatever you're doing with any kind of changes, the more people that you bring along on the journey, the more they feel bought in, and the less they feel like they're not barriers to the changes happening, right? They're going along, and it's like it feels like this is what's supposed to happen. Otherwise, we feel like things are happening to us. That's what happens with employees. They feel very kind of powerless. And so when they feel in that place, they're going to be less likely to want to get along with your new innovations and initiatives. So when we're talking about that, the main focus for our company with Employee Fanatix is helping organizations learn how to listen and use the voices of their people to drive their strategy forward.
That makes a lot of sense. Having that voice and actually feeling like you're being heard inside of a company can really make a difference, and also could help with retention. But you touched on a word that I really like, which is inclusiveness. And so talk to me a little bit. I know you're very much into programs around diversity and inclusion. And so I'd like to hear about some of the things that you've done or things that have really resonated with companies that you've worked on.
Yes, today I was actually speaking today on how to create a culture of belonging, and most of us in the DEI space think that belonging is kind of the next iteration of the work, because belonging really is one of the core things that we need to even reach our highest level as humans. So we need to have that sense of love and belonging. So our focus on that is even more important in helping organizations. How do you curate and orchestrate that? And I would say some of the best work I think that we've done is really in the facilitation space, really allowing employees to have a safe space. So we come in and curate a safe space where people can talk about the things that make them feel like they can bring their full selves to work, make them feel included or like excluded or whatever those things are, where they ordinarily wouldn't tell that truth because of lack of a trust. And so we try to do that, and as we're doing that, we're kind of working on the leaders and the culture at the same time to get it to a place where that trust can hopefully start to take effect, so that they don't always need us to do that work, to come in to curate the space where people go, oh my gosh, like this was so amazing. You came to hear us. We told you what we wanted. Now can you please go tell those leaders to go do something? Go do something, please, because that will make us want to stay. It makes us want to I feel more connected to the organization that listens to me.
Yeah, you feel like you're making a difference.
Yes.
And you're being heard.
Absolutely.
For your hard work, that you're living your life going to this job, and you want to feel like you're part of it. So I like that. There's the diversity, there's the inclusion, and
Yes.
now belonging. It kind of brings it all together.
Absolutely, yes. I think if we think about, today I was always let people think about, when was a time, can you think of a time when you felt excluded and like you were not welcome in the place you were at? And everybody raised their hand. Of course everybody can think, and you'll never forget the time. Yeah. And what I say to people is, I want you to commit inside your own shoes. I want you to think about what that made you feel like, and how you have the power to make people not to feel the opposite of that. You want to make them feel welcome. And so, of course, walking through some of the things of really thinking about compassionate action, allyship, how we can have more courage to stand up for people when we're seeing things aren't going right. And believe me, we've all been in that situation where we've seen this person like microaggressions or whatever the things that are happening right in front of us. We may just shush up. And what I was trying to tell them to do is really be thinking about how you can be courageous in the moment to meet the people that need you. They really do need you, to be there for them, to be their ally and their advocate.
Well, it sounds like you're doing some great work. If I was a company that was looking for some help with my culture or diversity, inclusion, and belonging, how would I find you?
I'd say the biggest thing is to go to employeefanatics.com.
Okay.
Employeefanatics.com is the website you'd go to. That's where all the consulting is housed, and you can get a hold of me very quickly there. If you're real curious and you're like, let me check more into this like Heather thing and this Employee Fanatics thing, you can just go find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. My team's there, and we love to engage with people. And you'll see, I always say, you'll get a little bit of the Heather juice. So you'll get a sense of what it is we do, what we value, and what we can bring to any organization.
Well, I mean, you're preaching to the choir here at Nasdaq. We are very much into diversity, inclusion, belonging. We have a lot of programs, but I'd love to connect with you and talk about that a little bit more. And it's just, I'm so grateful for you coming by and spending time with us today.
Thank you so much for having me and welcoming me in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Thank you.